Hey everybody, my name's Adam, or EposVox, and in this video I want to show you some TF2 soldier gameplay and talk about first-person shooter mechanics and development. Now, if you want to see some gameplay other than my usual soldier gameplay, let me know what types of class builds and stuff you'd like to see me play in the comment section down below. Something that gives me a challenge or whatever. The most recent set of requests that I got called for a cannon night, and I've posted a couple videos with that. So if you have, other requests of different class builds and loadouts you want me to try, let me know in the comment section down below. I still need to kind of get a better grip on Fat Scout before I make a video on it. Now, my question to you guys is, what sells a shooter to you? Now, if TF2 is pretty much the only first-person shooter that you play, then adapt that question to be, what specifically do you like about playing TF2 as a shooter? In theory, you've probably tried other shooters and you just don't like them compared to TF2, so what sets TF2 apart for you? Something that I find pretty interesting is the development cycle of general first-person shooter multiplayer games that come out. Obviously, companies want to make new games and they want to make money off of it, and so they have to come up with new things to make games for. Unless they're like Valve and continue to reap money in off the same game that they've had out for a very long time. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Even Battlefield, which had very long gaps between Battlefield games previously, like between Battlefield 2 and 2142 and 3, there was a huge gap. But then 4 came out not longer. 4 came out not long after 3. And then Hardline's coming out the year after 4, or the second year after 4, and then Battlefield 5 is apparently coming out next year. So they're picking up at the production cycle. So TF2 is one of the few games that still hasn't just started turning to annual releases, which it's a good thing that Valve said TF2 is here to stay. But by doing so, they have to start finding ways to change the game to make it worth buying again and appeal to new audiences. Now, an issue that I've found, at least from what I've interpreted and combined with my own feelings, they went so in kind of a wrong way at first, and this was especially exemplified in the Call of Duty games. Instead of realizing that the core shooter mechanics were what people came for, they started changing those. And so the basic gunplay and map movement and things like that, which make or break a shooter, those are what the developers started changing, instead of changing their general concepts. Instead of coming up with a new game idea, they were like, okay, we're just gonna make a new modern military shooter. Futuristic, modern war, desert, guns, technology. And they just started coming up with more and more ways that people could kill each other at once without ever really balancing it out. And so if you play some of the newer games like Black Ops 2, even though that one's a bit better overall, it still definitely shows this, and Ghosts and things like that, there are so many things you can die or at least get hit from. There's electrical things and claymores and so many kill streaks and all that jazz that all set up to kill you at some point or another, and it just becomes a little too much. And that's often what I feel. I love Black Ops 2 from a Call of Duty perspective. Black Ops 2 is one of the better Call of Duties, although certainly not better than, say, Black Ops 1 or Call of Duty 4, things like that. But that's one of the better ones like that, and still, if you jump in a match with people actually doing well, you're getting hit by the little taser things, the bouncing betties, the claymores, the kill streaks. It's just ridiculous, and that's not what people go to shooters for. People go to shooters to have a gun versus a gun, and that's why people typically have such huge nostalgia trips over games like Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3, because they were kind of the first and the forefront leader examples of really polished online multiplayer first-person shooters that got the basic mechanics right. They had very simple gun-on-gun gameplay with a few added bonuses, and that was it. But the developers decided to take that and just keep going with it and changing it, and they changed the wrong things. I do think, however, they're starting to get back on track. Battlefield Hardline is an example of this. Battlefield 3 to 4, it was the same freaking game. It was the same game, and they just changed things about it. Like, they changed weapon balances and how certain classes works. It was just like a mod of Battlefield 3, as far as I'm concerned. Battlefield Hardline is a totally different concept. It's highly infantry-based, instead of all the crazy 64-player vehicle crazy stuff. It's infantry close-quarter combats based. They gave it a new theme, they gave it new, like, functionality to the classes, they completely reworked how Battlefield works. Unfortunately, Battlefield 5 is probably going to go back to that, but considering how many people seem to be turned off by the Battlefield Hardline concept, I guess that doesn't matter. Same thing with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It still follows the, like, futuristic garbage and things like that, but they went back to a lot more simpler gun-on-gun gameplay and simply changed, you know, what you were. Instead of just being a normal soldier running around, you now have an exoskeleton, and they changed the way they added a new level of verticality to the game that didn't require them to add in all these crazy equipment and gears and kill streaks and stuff. And the verticality aspect and the change in the map dynamics and movement is what made the game interesting. And so I'm interested to see what you guys think about, you know, what mechanics are important in first-person shooters to change and to evolve and develop and things like that. That's one of the cool things that I like about what we've seen so far of Overwatch, is Overwatch still seems to be a very simple and basic shooter on some levels, like TF2, but they have the hero system, which makes it unique. They're going to have so many different heroes that are all going to be balanced and play different class roles, and there's going to be multiple heroes for certain class roles, but they're going to play the role differently. You know, they're going to have different builds for that class role and things like that. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. But there's not like 50 things you can get killed by. There may be like the engineer's turret, but there's not going to be all kinds of crazy kill streaks and stuff. And that seems to be what developers go after and players seem to cringe over. So I just wanted to talk about that with you guys in this video. Again, let me know what classes you want to see and what your thoughts on the topic are in the comment section down below. I'm going to take a drink of water. Thank you so much for your support and dealing with me with my crazy audio interface issues. Thank you for watching. Please sure to thumbs up the video and favorite it and comment and all that jazz, and check out our other channels, and I will catch you in a later video. Bye-bye.